Lithium is found in drinking water in varying regional levels. The higher the content, the lower the depression rate in that region. You suffer from mood swings, melancholia, and have lost joy. Lithium could truly be a real game changer for you. But does the whole thing also have downsides? That and much more now. Now that in Germany every 10th doctor receives money from the pharmaceutical industry as a commission for medications, it should no longer be a secret. But more on that later. Let's first get to lithium. Just imagine, there is a chemical element. It is really really light. It is the lightest metal that occurs on Earth. It has a very low concentration but is very common. This element can be used against mental illnesses, and this was discovered by the Dutchman Dr. Carl Lange as early as the 19th century. He worked with 2,000 people with these, treated with the element, and discovered that then this depressed mood, this melancholy and these brooding thoughts actually subsided after a while. In the year 1949, the Australian doctor, psychiatrist and neurologist Dr. John F. Cade discovered that lithium could also be used against mania. This means when test subjects were given lithium during a manic phase, the mania subsided. There are two different types of manias. There is mania type 1 and mania type 2. Mania type 2 is also called hypomania because it suffers from deficiency. Manic. Hypomanic, most people know that. These are feelings and emotions that most of us have when we are in love. Then you get a feeling of euphoria, you're in a good mood, and in psychiatry this could also be called hypomanic. But there is also mania, the fully developed mania. The mania is much higher, and most people actually never experience those in their lives. These are true high manias. This can lead to into psychotic states. This means that those affected often report, "I am the chosen one." They have delusions and feel great, similar to a pinch of cocaine, if you will. Lithium works quite differently from antidepressants because lithium is not really a typical medication but rather a metal. With lithium, it reduces oxidative stress that results from depression but also from mania. With antidepressants, it's completely different. They are synthetic, created by scientists in chemistry, and they work differently by affecting certain neurotransmitters in the brain. Happiness hormones, as they are commonly called, such as serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, are blocked in the synaptic cleft. With lithium, it also increases protective proteins in the blood, which ensures that the stress from depression but also from mania is reduced. You see here they are quite different mechanisms of action, but both can lead to these symptoms of depression and mania subsiding. Would lithium be an option for you? That is a question that is very, very difficult to answer, to generalize, because it depends on what has been diagnosed for you, which leads me to point number 1. Lithium has the disadvantage that it doesn't work for such a wide range of disorders as antidepressants do. For example, lithium is not necessarily used for obsessive thoughts or anxiety disorders. However, it is effective for and manias, as mentioned. However, there are a few other things important to mention. With lithium, for example, it has been found that long-term use can damage the kidneys as well as the thyroid, where you don't really hear much of that with antidepressants. The effect is also a point that must be addressed. With lithium, there is a very big advantage. The effect occurs in most cases between 4 and 10 days. With antidepressants, it can sometimes take 6 weeks, 7 weeks, or maybe longer. And in the worst case, it doesn't work. Then with antidepressants, we still have the problem that with most of them, sexual dysfunction occurs. With lithium, this also occurs. However, that is only 10% of the cases. That means it is an advantage again, Therefore, it is very difficult to determine whether it is suitable for you or not. If you have now decided on lithium, if you decide to take lithium or are considering using it, then there are a few things you absolutely need to keep in mind because they are very, very important. First of all, which medications you do not take together with lithium under any circumstances. Medications from the family of MAO inhibitors, also SSRIs, that is antidepressants, should not be taken together with lithium. There are also ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors together with lithium, a no-go, and anti-epileptic drugs together with lithium. No? And neuroleptics, absolutely not. But now you might be thinking, yes, that's already clear because those are other medications. There are various severe interactions, but hey, there's something else that unfortunately is not included in the package insert. At least I have never experienced it being written anywhere. Maybe you have? Because now listen to me carefully. The supplement 5-HTP taken together with lithium. If you want to know what 5-HTP is, I'll link it here above on the E. And very, very, very important because nobody tells you this. When you go shopping, buy mineral water. If you take lithium, please always check the back of the water to see how much lithium might be in the mineral water. And with medicinal water, which most people don't buy very often, in connection with leaves, unfortunately not, the lithium content is usually much higher. Not in all, but I know, for example, a medicinal water called Hirschquelle. I know that it contains, for example, very, very much lithium. It is a very healthy water that can be consumed to also stabilize one's own mood without lithium. Of course, the level here isn't as high as with the medication from the doctor, but you can do that too. But again, together this water with lithium from the doctor, very toxic. Please do not take it. And why am I saying all this? You know what a Tesla vehicle is, right? Now, some might wonder, what does it have to do with a Tesla vehicle? In a Tesla vehicle, there are approximately 10 kiloliters. These 10 kilograms of lithium could kill 60,000 people because even 168 grams of lithium in the blood of an adult human are immediately fatal. That means it is indeed also toxic because it has an effect, absolutely toxic to the central nervous system. And that is why I find it so important that a doctor should tell you that this should be considered with supplements, but also with water, etc. Each year in Germany, doctors earn up to 100 million euros from the pharmaceutical industry. Never. When you observe how your clients react when they receive certain medications, from which the doctors receive a commission from the pharmaceutical industry. Here's the source for that. You can take a break and read through it if you want. That means it's a converse conclusion now for you. Your doctor might potentially receive money commissions from the pharmaceutical industry, which could naturally also tempt them to prescribe you a different medication or at least a similar one that you might not even need. And I find that very dangerous and very insidious. That's why I'm telling you and warning you about it. Be careful of such doctors who are very quick to prescribe medications, especially for psychological issues. There is so much that can be done without medication. Please be mindful of that, because you may end up ruining your health while he earns money. I don't know which is more important of the two. Whether lithium can really be a game changer for you is something everyone should find out for themselves. In any case, people should definitely not take it, especially those who are pregnant. If you're now interested in which antidepressants you could take during pregnancy if you ever get pregnant, then check out a video about sertraline here. Thank you for watching your Juan. Namaste.